Hey everyone, welcome to the RotoGrinders Morning Grind Podcast. I'm your host, Stevietpfl. It's Thursday, it's August 20th, it's 2020, and we have 8 baseball games to talk about here on today's slate. For the second day in a row, I'm joined by my dude, ChiefJustice06. Will, how are you doing, my friend?
Doing good, man. I talked about this yesterday, man, getting a double dip in baseball on the week. Couldn't be more excited. Definitely ready to break this slate down. Slightly less games on this one. Still have some good pitching options, so I'm definitely ready to get rolling.
Listen, there's a clear-cut number one guy today, and it's not even close. My pitchers are doing fine on Wednesday, but my game stack of Washington and Atlanta is not doing so hot, Will. It's actually probably hot, but it's not because of the baseball game. So I was just telling you, like, I had my parents came over for dinner, and my 8-year-old cooked dinner for everyone. She's, like, super into cooking right now, and, like, if you knew how picky my kid was, like, 5 months ago, like, this would be like a huge thing. So, like, I wasn't looking and paying attention to the weather. So for me, way more important, but it stinks. You know, I'm trying not to tilt. In my head, I've already moved on to Thursday, and I'm ready to break down this slate because, like you said, less games, but man, some really interesting decisions we're going to have to make on this slate.
Yeah, for sure. I like short slates with good pitching options. I mean, because, we've had some already this season where, you open up the slate and you say, what is happening with these pitchers? So this is exciting to me, man. Have a shorter slate, with these types of pitching options. I feel like we've got 5 or 6 really good choices. So, there's probably a 7th that people will like that's in a bad matchup, but I like it. I think this is a good slate to really pick some pitchers.
Let's get into it, my friend. We got Cleveland and Pittsburgh, Shane Bieber and Trevor Williams. Well, this is the clear-cut guy. Like, this is the guy. If you're playing cash games, you're building around Shane Bieber on this slate. Not only has he been fantastic, Pittsburgh is last in almost every offensive category against right-handed pitching. Like, this to me is a don't overthink it spot. Play Shane Bieber.
For sure. And I mean, if you see what Mr. Savale did today, or Savale, listen, you kind of nailed that when I pulled up his stats right before we got on here. Definitely wanted you to take your victory lap, non-victory lap. I know you don't really take those. He was through 8 innings clean. Not a no-no, but I think he was through 8. Was at about 103 pitches in the 9th, and they let him run back out there. So I'm not sure if the game's over because I haven't checked that. But I know he had, I think, 8. I know he went through at least 8 innings, and I think 6 or 7 strikeouts. Great performance. And listen, this guy is definitely not Shane Bieber. The thing I like about Shane is he basically came out of the gate smoking. Started the first night against Kansas at 6 innings and hasn't really looked back. So, I'm with you. Clear-cut option. If you even want to hear the numbers, on the season, and this is outstanding. 1.73 xFIP, 42.9% K rate on the season right now, 4.8% walk rate, fly ball rate at 27.7%. Clear cut, man. I know we didn't have to give those, but he's definitely the number one option, hands down.
Yeah, 43% K rate. Like I don't need to say anything else. He's over 40% to both sides. You look at like the 2020 numbers for Pittsburgh, and this offense is bad. Savale, he threw a complete game. Gave up 1 run in that game. I wasn't going to take a victory lap, Will. I was just listen. I stacked Atlanta, Washington. There's no victory laps coming from here. I have a Oakland stack with Savale and DeGrom, so we'll see. But like that even has some Braves hitters in it too. So. It's just not one of those days for me. Like I said, not going to tilt it. We do have Trevor Williams on the other side of this game. I don't think Trevor Williams is a bad option at 5,600. This Cleveland offense, it's getting better. They're starting to hit the ball finally. Finally. But, like, they're still not, like, pounding pitchers. Like, who was it today? Like, brought through 5 innings against this team. Like, Steven brought through 5 innings and allowed 0 runs on 2 hits, only struck out a few, but, like, he pitched way better than we expected him to. We didn't even expect him to go that deep. Like, he threw 80 pitches. So Trevor Williams, he struggles a lot more against righties this season than lefties. I think at 5,600, you could do way worse.
Yeah, I'm with you. You know, I'm not playing Trevor Williams, although it feels like we can. I'm going to try to side with the Cleveland offense once more. You know, we're thinking they're heating up. I tend to agree. I mean, look, on the season now, Cleveland's 27th in the league in terms of runs per game scored at 3.87. So I'm not ready to anoint them back yet. But I do think they're turning somewhat of a corner. And, you know, I don't want to play Trevor Williams against a team that I feel like is on their way back. And, you know, we can say hot, cold, whatever. Bottom line, they haven't hit the ball well this season. But, you know, we know that this team can hit once they turn the corner. So I'm going to be inclined to fade Trevor Williams, even though Cleveland is very inconsistent right now.
Yeah, you look at the options under 7K, and, like, that's the only reason he kind of stands out to me. Like, there's really not a ton of options down here. Like, Kikuchi's facing the Dodgers.
Right.
Eovaldi's facing Baltimore. Wojciechowski, you know, the other side of that game, you know, facing Boston. So, like, you know, just looking at, like, the other options here, it's just, like, one of those things where there's not a ton of options under 7K. So if you do want to venture under 7K, like, he's in play. Not saying that, like, if you don't have him on teams, don't target Jose Ramirez, don't target Lindor, don't target Santana, don't target Reyes. Like, you're still targeting these guys, like, on teams that you don't have Trevor Williams. But, like, if you're playing 150 teams today, you're probably going to end up with some exposure to Trevor Williams. I don't play 150 teams. I make this very clear all the time. I'm a 1 to 3 lineup person in baseball. And I'm even considering him in that type of build today, you know, because there are some stacks that I like that you're really going to have to pay up for, but there's also some stacks that are kind of cheaper on the slate too. So it all depends on what these lineups look like, and you know, depending on who's in the lineup on some of these teams.
Yeah, for sure. I'm with you 100%.
Do you have any interest in the Pittsburgh bats?
Negative.
Yeah, it's kind of where I'm at too. I'm gonna pass on Pittsburgh here. Like, I talk about hedge stacking every once in a while, but this isn't the spot today. Dodgers and Mariners. Hey, Dodgers hit a couple home runs just a second ago. That's nice.
Oh my goodness! Stop. We're on a podcast. You're gonna have me checking my phone here.
Jock Peterson and Max Muncy went yards.
Geez.
So there you go.
And guess what? I had Jock in there, of course. And I took him out to play Cody Bellinger because I felt like maybe this is a spot he could get going, and of course he did not. But I do have Max. Not going to complain. What a night!
I have a Lance Lynn Paddock. That was my third team with a Dodgers stack, but it has some Braves in there too. So, like, I'm losing today, Will. I'm not winning today. I'm just not winning today. It's just not happening. But up next, we got Clayton Kershaw, Yusei Kikuchi. Kershaw here going up against Seattle. We know, like, this offense is not anything that's, like, sincerely going to scare you. What's your thoughts here when it comes to Clayton Kershaw?
Yeah, I don't hate Kershaw. I mean, you know, you look at this season's numbers. I mean, and the thing I always think about with Kershaw, Stevie, is we're not getting $14,000 Kershaw back, right? But what we do have now is a respectable pitcher against a team that's not as good. I mean, 28.1% K rate, 2.56 xFIP, 62% ground ball rate in the season, which is, I mean, really, really fantastic. You know, he's not the same guy in terms of the actual K ability, but at 28%, I'm more than willing to accept that. I think the price is fair. You know, if you want to kind of maybe double stack, try to get some, you'll need some really cheap bats, but I'm always kind of looking to do that and just kind of see what I have. Bottom line, I think Kershaw's in play on this slate for sure.
All right, my boy Bobby Fi, I know he listens to the podcast every once in a while. He can tweet me today, but I think Kershaw might be back. We'll see. And I know he watches way more Dodgers games than I do, but listen, his velocity's back up 2 miles an hour. The stuff looks fantastic right now. Like I watched some of that Angels game, and he pitched a really, really good game against the Angels. And like you look at it, 2.65 ERA, but like 2.56 xFIP. Like he's not getting unlucky. He's pitching really, really well. Striking out both sides. Like this is what Clayton Kershaw was able to do before he got hurt. So hey, listen, facing Seattle, he's very much in play here for me. My biggest concern is, are they ever going to let him go over 100 pitches? Probably not. So like ceiling wise, Bieber probably a higher ceiling, but like it's definitely an option, like especially in tournaments if you don't want to play 100% Bieber on the slate. And then on the other side, you got Yusei Kikuchi. Listen, the Dodgers are a team that disappears against left-handed pitching every once in a while. Like, Betts and Turner, two big right-handed bats seem like they're way better against right-handed pitching. Kikuchi's pitched well this season. I'm not saying he's the craziest tournament play either, because like I was talking about with Trevor Williams, we don't have a lot of options under 7K, and we have top-end arms to pay up for on the slate.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I was, Stevie, when I was saying we had about maybe 5 to 6 good arms that I thought, we'd be very interested in. Kikuchi is definitely that 7th guy for me in terms of, what I was talking about earlier. I mean, he's cheap enough. You look this season, 25.8% K rate, 3.08 xFIP. I'm with you, and that's why I wasn't as heavy on Trevor Williams. I'll be more than willing to roll out. Listen, if I can roll out Zach Davies against the Dodgers, I don't have any problem rolling out Kikuchi. So I think in terms of the cheap pitcher, he's my guy today if I need the savings.
Yeah, like I don't love bats in this game. I love the Dodgers most days, but you look at some of these numbers for against left-handed pitching. Like Pollock is always in play against lefties. If Kiki draws a decent lineup spot, like maybe they give Justin Turner or one of these guys a day off. I highly doubt it. Like this is prime Cody Bellinger day off spot in my opinion. Like these numbers against lefties this year worry me big time for the Dodgers. But like if we look back to the start of last year, like we know Turner, we know Pollock, we know these guys can hit left-handed pitching.
Yeah, and I think for me, if I was going to maybe play one guy, it might be Mookie. I know the numbers don't look great, but Kikuchi's kind of hitting guys with this cutter. And ironically, I mean, Mookie's mashing this pitch, by the way. The whiff rate's up to almost 20%, 19.05, but the ground ball rate is at 14.2. Like, Mookie might be my dawn call of the day in the expensive range. Looks to be really good against Kikuchi here. So we'll see how it goes.
That's all we can do. That's all we can do. We move on. Oh, do you have any interest in the Mariners bets?
Negative.
Yeah, I don't really have any interest in the Mariners bets either. Austin Nola's 3,200 as a catcher. I don't hate that. But Austin Barnes is 2,600 on the other side. Give me him instead. I like playing Nola. I just don't know if I want to play him against Kershaw. Brewers and Twins. Brandon Woodruff against Jose Barrios. Any interest here in Woodruff?
On most days, I really like Brandon Woodruff. And I actually think we might be able to get away with playing him today. Numbers look really good on the season. I just think he's going to be right outside of that elite tier for me, especially with the price. I like him, don't love him. Not a bad pitcher at all. I just don't think I'm going to get there when I've got Kershaw and I've got Bieber. We've got another guy that I like more than him on the other side. So I don't think I'm going to get there today. But I think he's fine. It is going to probably steer me away from some of the Minnesota bats.
Can we all agree now that Brandon Woodruff is a good pitcher? Like, can we just agree he's not this average guy? And he is transformed into a starter that actually is going to be good. Let's just say that. His walks are still, something that concerned me, but even his walk rate is at 6.8% on the season. So, He's a good pitcher. I don't like playing pitchers against the Twins. If you want to do it in tournaments, I'm not going to talk you off of it. But just know that I'm probably not going to stack the Twins today, and I think that says a lot. Jose Barrios, on the other side, he's 9K. He has been very, very hit or miss, and he's had some good spots to start the season. Listen, Milwaukee, I keep saying it, Will. This offense is three guys. You beat those three guys, and you win the matchup. What are we doing here with Jose Barrios?
Yeah, Barrios is he's my tournament flyer, right? And when you look at these 2020 numbers, his K rate, isn't up completely to where I want it to be. It's pretty neutral on both sides. So I'm not thrilled about that. But, man, these K numbers on the season for Milwaukee, Stevie, to me, in terms of the K department, this is almost worse than Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh just doesn't have the power. But, I mean, Avisail Garcia, Yelich, this whole team, 27%, 30%, 35, 42 for Smoke, 26 for Braun, 28 for Navarez, 44 for Ben Gamel. Then you got, Urias and Sogard if they play the bottom of this order that doesn't strike out hardly ever. I think Barrios is an elite tournament play today. Not sure where his ownership is going to end up, but for 9K, I'm willing to roll the dice on a guy that I know has upside. And if this team just happens to be as bad as these K numbers look, he could be a tournament winner for you. So that for that reason alone, I have interest in Jose Barrios.
Well, I'd take myself against the Brewers at this point. So I definitely have some interest in Barrios. Like you look at the lineup, and if you just look at 2020 numbers, I know it's a small sample size, but like even our boy Christian Yelich is striking out at such a high clip right now. So the upside, the ceiling is there. You're paying for it. Like he's 9K. You're definitely paying for it on this slate. And like there's a bunch of good options on this slate. So like if you want to go like two top end guys, we're gonna talk about Dinelson Lamet in a little while. So like if you want to build like a Barrios Lamet team or a Sonny Gray Barrios team and get off of Bieber and Kershaw instead of like going Woodruff Bieber, like it's definitely in play on this slate for sure. I have zero interest in the bats in this game, and there's nothing like Milwaukee. Maybe Yelich is a one-off, Hera is a one-off. Milwaukee or Minnesota is always a team that I like to stack, but I trust that like Brandon Woodruff's not going to get rocked here. Like, and this bullpen's really good. Like, this is a stay away hitter spot for me.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I'm all over the Twins today because I had to kind of get off my Braves Washington stack, and they're not hitting today, and that was against Brett Anderson. So they're probably going to come out and destroy Brandon Woodruff tomorrow. However, the numbers suggest that Woodruff is still going to have a pretty good game, not going to get touched up, definitely going to get some strikeouts. So I'm with you. No bats from this game on either side. Love both of these pitchers, actually.
All right, well, we can talk about some bats in this next game. We got the Boston Red Sox and the Baltimore Orioles. Nathan Eovaldi against Asher Wojciechowski. Man, oh man, this is a game we want bats. Do you have any interest in Eovaldi?
So first of all, I never thought I'd say this against the Baltimore Orioles, even though I knew they would get better at some point. There's no way I'm playing Eovaldi against the red-hot Baltimore Orioles. Never thought I'd say that ever on this podcast, but Baltimore's hitting well right now, and I don't trust Eovaldi usually against anyone, so just going to be a no. Not playing Nathan Eovaldi here.
I think Baltimore is the most underpriced team on the slate, and we'll talk about that here in a second. But they're one of my favorite. They're a top 3 stack for me on the slate. So Eovaldi has looked a lot better this season. Like if you look at like his 2020 numbers and you compare it to his 2019 numbers, the walk rate, the command is way better. So obviously that's a little concerning. But he's still a guy that gives up a lot of hard contact to both sides of the plate and a ton of fly balls to lefties, and they're going to throw a lot of lefties at him here. So strikeout rate is better against lefties, mostly because he uses like a cutter-splitter mix and doesn't throw as much fastballs. But, overall, I'm not going to play Eovaldi here. Again, I like the Baltimore bats. Wojciechowski on the other side, This could be a lineup minus JD Martinez. We know Ben Benintendi is on the IL already. So, like, this could potentially be a watered down Red Sox lineup. JD Martinez left the game with dehydration on Wednesday. They might just give him another day here. I still don't think I trust Wojciechowski enough to play him in this spot.
Yeah, I mean, I will say this. I do think in terms of trajectory, I actually do feel like Wojciechowski is on the trend. He's going to trend up. I really genuinely feel that way. I think he's got enough to stay in the big leagues. I really do. The problem is he's not there yet. In terms of price, I don't mind the price, but I still don't think I can trust him enough. And that's kind of where I'm at. I mean, some of these guys' K rates on the season, they're up there. Like if he went out and threw a gem, Stevie, I don't think I'd be completely shocked. That's kind of where I am. I just don't want to play him in the spot because I think the offenses are going to outperform the pitchers.
Yeah, like we talked about, like Trevor Williams, that game's sitting at like a 7.5 total. Pitcher's ballpark. We talked about Yusei Kikuchi in this price range. That game's sitting at 8.5 and a hit in a pitcher's ballpark too. Like the ball has been jumping in Baltimore. I can't. Even if JD's out, I don't think I can pull the trigger on Wojciechowski here. I like the bats. I like the bats all around here. Let's start with Boston, Will. What stand out to you for the Red Sox?
Well, Verdugo is – I think he's playing pretty well. I mean, I like what I'm seeing from him. Low walk rate. Listen, he's a ground ball guy. Don't get me wrong. But, I always think about one of the first articles or one of the many articles that I've read of Dave Potts. Hitting is good, too. And he talked about Kurt Suzuki in that article, which is why I've always had such an affinity for Kurt Suzuki. And Verdugo is going to hit the ball. He's going to have it in play. Not going to hit a whole bunch of home runs, but listen, we need guys that are going to get on base. I actually think he's probably going to be my favorite bat from this side of the plate, outside of Mitch Moreland. If Mitch creeps in the lineup, then obviously I'll play some Mitch. But I like Verdugo. He's my favorite bat from the Boston side. I like him a lot. I think this is a really good spot for him.
Yeah, I like that call. Anytime you're looking at a guy with an 85% contact rate and a 45% hard hit rate, like, he's not striking out and he's hitting the ball hard. He does hit a lot of ground balls, but that's okay. Wojciechowski's a fly ball pitcher. So, like, this is a great spot to target Verdugo. There was somebody else.
The price is good, too. The
other
ridiculous.
Guy. Yeah, the price is good. The other guy that I wanted to mention, who's kind of like a ground ball hitter, is Jackie Bradley Jr. He's back. He would be someone that really stands out to me and that could potentially move up in the lineup if JD's out. So you definitely want to pay attention to that. Him and Verdugo are fantastic options on the slate. There's a lot of great plays on the slate. And a lot of them from this game. Let's talk Baltimore. One of the hottest hitters in baseball. One of the best hitters in baseball to start the season has been Santander, 4,300. Another guy that's like, there's so many guys on Baltimore that's underpriced today, and he's one of them.
Yeah, man. I mean, and then you look at the numbers too. When you get guys with, that are hitting the ball well, not striking out. He's not walking as much because he's putting the ball in play so much. I mean, guy's got a 450 WOBA, 430 ISO against right-handed pitching on the season so far. Just fantastic. So, I think he's probably going to be a fan favorite on this slate. I don't think it's a secret anymore that the Red Sox bullpen will just hand the game to the other team. All you've got to do is weather the storm through the starter, and you pretty much can pick up a win on the back end of it. So I like Santander. Renato Nunez has been hitting pretty well. He's been striking out. His strikeout rate is obviously a lot higher, but he's actually been hitting pretty well on the season. So I don't mind him as well. I'm just with you, man. I think this is a good spot to attack, even if not for Eovaldi, just for the 4 innings they may get from the bullpen. I don't see Eovaldi going past 5. So I like the Baltimore Orioles quite a bit.
Yeah, the other guy that I want to mention, Eovaldi is more of a fly ball guy to lefties too. Has been since the start of last season a lot too. Dwight Smith Jr. is a guy that hits the ball on the ground a lot. He should benefit from a fly ball pitcher. So, and I like Rio Ruiz. He profiles well in this spot, and he's a guy that typically will hit the ball pretty hard in spots. So, he's someone that I think is really interesting here. But yeah, the bullpen. Like, if you get Eovaldi out by the fifth and you get the Red Sox bullpen, like,
7 runs.
You're
7
just
runs.
you're so excited when that happens. So I think a lot of these guys are in play. Obviously, you can stack them. They're, like I said, one of my favorite stacks on the slate. And yeah, like, I hope Cisco starts. They've been hitting him at the top of the order, and he's a catcher that you can get towards the top of the order. I know his numbers aren't fantastic on the year, but Will, give me a catcher hitting up towards the top of the order at 3,700. I'm excited about that for sure. So, moving on, we got the Rangers and the Padres. Kyle Gibson, Dinelson Lamet. Let's talk Kyle Gibson first. Any interest in him?
No.
I think I'm going to pass on him in this spot too. Like, I will play pitchers against the Padres. I have no issues with that. Like, I played Lance Lynn on a team or two between FanDuel and DraftKings on Wednesday. But, like, this is just not a spot that, like, I get excited about playing some guys. I'm not excited about playing Kyle Gibson in this spot. He's been better, and, like, maybe I should respect it more, but, like, I don't like this spot for him.
Yeah, and man, look, I was all about some Lance Lynn today, and the Padres aren't really touching him up. They've got 2 runs, through 5 innings. Tatis Jr. strikes again, in case anyone's wondering. Yes, he has sent another one over the wall, but generally speaking, I was all about Lance Lynn because I liked his pedigree here. I don't trust Kyle Gibson in this spot. I just don't. I think, the Padres, this offense has upside. They've got professional hitters up and down. Yeah, they've got a few, guys that may be in and out of the lineup, but overall, man, top of this order, I don't think it's going to be worth it to play Kyle Gibson today, and that's just kind of where I'm at.
I like Dinelson Lamet a lot more on the other side of this game. I've talked about the Texas struggles. I feel like a ton over the last couple weeks here, but like, it's a real thing. Like, I don't want to jinx Chris Paddock, but he's cruising against them on Wednesday, and like, there's been so many guys that have pitched well against him, and like, this guy's a guy that can go out and strike out both sides of the plate. Does give up a lot of fly balls and a lot of hard contact, but he's a guy that throws gas. Like, he's a guy that sits in that like 96 to 98 range, and he throws gas. And I was looking just to try to get like an idea of like how this team does against like hard throwing guys, and buddy, Lamet could crush in this spot, and he should crush in this spot.
Yeah, man. I mean, you already talked about it. You look at the numbers. Nobody, outside of Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, nobody has contact, and Willie Calhoun, but nobody really has the contact numbers. The whiff rates are pretty much up on everybody outside of Willie Calhoun and Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. But I'm not afraid. I'm not going to be afraid of 2 bats in this lineup. This team is striking out. Or most guys in this team are striking out at a pretty high clip. Lamet's numbers on the season, 32.1% K rate. Does have a 4.07 xFIP. However, he's going to negate that with this 32.1% K rate against the Texas bats. I'm with you. I like Lamet here. I think he's going to be a fine play on this slate.
Yeah. I hope it works out. So this is one of those spots, like, this is a classic Stevie hedge stack. Like, I could see, like, if you're playing a bunch of Lamet, stacking Texas against him. But overall, like, I like Lamet way more than I like Texas here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Any interest in the Padres bats? Like, we have to have interest in Tatis, right? Like, this guy is the hottest hitter on the planet.
Yeah, I do actually have some interest, Stevie, in these bats. And it's mainly because there are a few guys that look really good. I feel like against Kyle Gibson, And I think the numbers will be there. Yeah, he's going to throw the sinker to righties about 50% of the time. And they do have really high ground ball numbers, but I don't mind the ground ball numbers when the guys have the contact numbers. And so Trent Grisham right now, 96.55% contact, 80% contact with Tatis. And look, a lot of balls will be on the ground, okay? I'm not saying that. But if we're putting the ball in play, if they're going to single and double Gibson to death, they'll get him out of there quickly. We'll get a little bit of Texas bullpen, and then maybe they can rattle off some singles and doubles to drive some runs in. This is still a high upside team. I like them a lot, man. I think this is a good spot for them. Contact numbers are there.
Like, everyone's going to have the same stacks today. Like, everyone's going to play Red Sox, Orioles. Like, that's not a secret. People are going to take shots on the Dodgers. People are going to take shots on Cleveland. We haven't talked about Oakland yet against Alex Young or, the Angels and the Giants game. But, like, there's only a few spots to be different. And I feel like, why not be different with a Padres team that has shown some upside? And, like, Jake Cronenworth, like, even him, like, Willie's 2,500 again. Like, this is a guy that's hitting over 300 on the season. He has a 375 ISO on the season, and he's 2,500. Like, he hasn't stopped hitting. Like, he had a couple games in there against the Dodgers where he didn't hit well, but, like, he has just been a producing machine.
And by the way, that was 2 games. Because the first 2 games, he definitely hit. I'm with you, man. I'm not sure what we're doing here, DraftKings. And now that we're saying that, maybe they listen. Maybe he'll get priced up. But I'm with you, man. 2,600 for a guy is going to be, behind some guys that should be on base. I mean, he's got Myers, Hosmer, Machado, Tatis in front of him. Grisham leading off if they decide to run it that way. I'm with you, man. 11.1% K rate. Even more excited. Too cheap for this slate. Too cheap. I mean, we might as well go ahead and plug him in right now. Like, just too cheap.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are going to talk about him today. He's just too cheap. I'm with you on that one. And your boy Bellinger just hit a home run, too, just so you know.
Oh, I do have him. Thank you, Mr. Bellinger.
Reds and Cardinals, Sonny Gray, Adam Wainwright. Hey, listen, like, this is another spot that we have some pitchers, like Sonny Gray. As a guy that's never really loved Sonny Gray's, like, just whole overall approach.
Man, take him out of that Oakland uniform, man.
Oh, man, that guy,
Oakland
this
Sonny
year
Gray was terrible.
I feel like this is one of the first slates that we've had Sonny Gray on that he hasn't had, like, one of those weird start times. We can actually play Gray. I think Sonny Gray is $1,000 too cheap on DraftKings today at 9,500.
Correct. And Stevie, I mean, man, that's what I was talking about when I'm like, man, we've got so many guys for the price. Hear me out. For the price, right now, Sonny Gray is my favorite pitcher. For the price. I talked about Barrios. He's $9K. Obviously, I'm going to just pay $9,500 more and play Sonny Gray. I mean, that's a no-brainer to me. So I'm with you, man. 37.2% K rate, 2.37 xFIP on the season. Ground ball rate is where it should be. Does have a little bit of hard contact, but to righties, 46.2% K rate. He will get some lefties and switch hitters in his lineup. Not really worried. 30% K rate to lefties. If we take 30% all day long. So I like Sonny Gray here. 9,500. I mean, what for the price? I feel like he's the best player on the slate.
Yeah, like, realistically, I don't think it's going to be hard to fit Bieber and Gray into a cash lineup. So,
no.
you plug in Jake Cronenworth and Austin Barnes, and you're off to the races. So, you guys are welcome, but yeah. I think it's going to be kind of popular, but, like, it's hard not to like it. We haven't seen a lot from the Cardinals yet this season. They haven't played a lot. They've been on weird slates, like doubleheaders a bunch. So
and they had that Corona thing too that held them back. Corona held them back for a whole series. So,
it's hard not to like Sonny Gray here. Adam Wainwright on the other side. Adam Wainwright is nothing like he used to be. There's so much regression coming with Adam Wainwright's numbers this season. Listen, he's a guy, he has a 1.64 ERA after 2 starts. His xFIP is 3 points higher than that. Like there is so much regression coming with Adam Wainwright. Do not pay 8,300 for Adam Wainwright today. Like, could he go out and do it again? Sure, but like the regression is going to hit eventually.
Yeah, man, I'm with you 100%. I did want to talk about, and this is gonna. I'm gonna go to FanDuel on this one. If you're interested in the Cincinnati Reds, and they're not crazy expensive on DK either, but especially on FanDuel, man, we're gonna get Jesse Winker at 2,700. You know, Akiyama at 2,500. It's just these guys are just too cheap. Mike Moustakas is 3K. Votto's 3K. Eugenio Suarez is 2,700. Stevie, these prices are atrocious to be facing Wainwright. I think this is a misprice. And on FanDuel specifically, I want to point that out. The Reds are too cheap on FanDuel. They may get the ownership. If not, I will be stacking the Reds on FanDuel tomorrow. Incredibly too cheap.
Yeah. Verdugo and some of those Boston guys and Baltimore guys are severely underpriced on FanDuel too. So, yeah, like I don't like Wainwright here. Like I think the Cincinnati stack is very much in play. Like I said, there's not a lot of ways to be different on this slate. And like this is obviously a way. And you got my boy Moustakas back. You know, he's a guy that just mashes baseballs. So I don't like Wainwright here at all. Like I'm off of him. I like potentially stacking again. Like this dude's giving up 50% hard contact. It's not going to last. Like this is not going to last. He's going to get mashed, and I hope it's the Reds today because I'm with you. I think they're a really interesting stack. Just don't play Joey Votto. Listen, that's a public service announcement that I am going to say every time. Don't play Joey Votto. Like, do yourself a favor, save your money, don't play Joey Votto.
I got you, man. You know I don't ever mind playing Joey. Listen, I'm all
your
about
6 points with 2 walks and a single.
But here's the thing, though. If he gets walked twice and they bring him in twice, and then maybe they bat around once. So here's the thing. If Trevor Barnhart is at the bottom of this order, Trevor Barnhart is like really – I think he'll put the ball in play enough. Votto could single and double this team to death and end up with 20 fantasy points just by getting on base. I like this spot. Stevie, you're getting me excited about some Cincinnati Reds today. This may be the team of the day for me.
Listen, you get excited. Just don't play Joey Votto. Like I warned you. You're gonna text me tomorrow and you're like, dude, my red stack did so good and Joey Votto got me 6 points and I didn't win. So I don't really have any interest in the Cardinals here. At all. Like I'm not gonna pick on Sonny Gray. He's been too good. Like I'm gonna pass. Like he gets blown up every once in a while, but not gonna take shots on it today. Diamondbacks Athletics, Alex Young, Sean Manaya. Let's talk Alex Young first. You know, we've seen a little bit of him now, you know, a little bit last year, a little bit this year. He has like his numbers are super impressive this season. You know, when we're looking at like overall numbers, his numbers are super impressive. But here's the thing. A lot of that was out of the bullpen, throwing 1 or 2 innings, you know, not really like getting like full work. He doesn't throw hard. You have to throw hard to beat Oakland. Shout out to my boy Kirk Dees. I'm going to say it every day. Like, he's the one to put me on this. Like, as we're recording right now, like, Kana just hit he just hit a home run. Like, you got to throw hard to beat Oakland. And, like, he doesn't throw hard enough to beat Oakland. They're another team that I'm really, really liking on this slate. So I'm going to pass on Young.
Yeah, I get it, man. I mean, I don't think he's necessary. I don't mind him, but he's not necessary on this slate. We've got a really good handful of guys to where we don't have to be chasing Young here. So I'm with you. He's going to be a pass for me.
Let's talk the other side here. Sean Manaya. No clue what to do with this guy. Like, I love the matchup. I think Arizona stinks. I think they can do a lot better than they're doing. I don't want to say they stink. They could do a lot better than they're doing. They're not doing well. I've highlighted multiple times that they're just not a team. Like, they're not hitting home runs. They have 3 home runs against left-handed pitching this season in 155 at-bats. That's just not the ratio that you want to win a tournament.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be playing any Manaya. Not really pitching deep enough for me. He's definitely going to give up some hits and walks. He's pretty much done it every game. I don't see the outing changing too much. I mean, you look at what's happening here. 5 hits in 4 innings, 6 hits in 4 innings. Or, excuse me, let me be more specific. 5 hits in 4 2/3, 6 hits in 4 1/3, 6 hits in 3 1/3, 1 walk, 7 hits in 2 2/3, 3 walks, 3 hits, 1 walk, and 5 hits. Like, guys are making contact. I feel like it's only a matter of time before he really, really gets crushed. The more I think about it, I think Arizona may be sneaky on this slate. And it's just when you start giving up that many hits, Stevie, eventually runs have to come in. I'd love to see what his left on base percentage is right now. I don't have that in front of me, but I can't play Manaya.
Yeah, there's too many guys that I like more on this slate. I don't know if I necessarily would talk you off of him. His left on base percentage is actually not as high as you think it is. It's like 43.2%, which is not high.
That's way low than what I thought. I thought it would have been in maybe the 70s, 80s, but I guess the guys are getting the hits, they're getting on base.
And he has a 381 BABIP, so he's even on the high side of BABIP. So the numbers don't look bad. Obviously the ERA is really, really high. The xFIP is way, way better. It's just there's so many guys that I like on this slate more than him. The talent is always – I feel like the talent's always been there with Sean Manaya. The walks are way down too, but just giving up way too much. You know what I really like? I really like Nick Ahmed because he's super cheap. He kind of fits some builds, and he's always been someone that I really like against left-handed pitching that gives up a lot of fly balls. And Sean Manaya gives up a lot of fly balls to righties.
Yeah, and Nick Ahmed's been hitting this year. I mean, seriously, almost every game. I mean, the fantasy statistics are there. The regular statistics are there. I mean, I'm looking at maybe his past 10, 11 games. He's only had maybe 2 games where he just did nothing. But outside of that, I mean, they're getting good production out of Nick Ahmed, and they're pretty much keeping him buried in the order, which is why his price doesn't go up. So I'm with you, man. Nick Ahmed may be sneaky here. We get some cheap catcher, cheap shortstop action, and I can just I can feel the Bieber Sonny Gray combo coming into fruition right now.
Listen, I think it's way easier to build than it should be. Everybody knows, I talk about it all the time. I build a lineup as we go, and it's built. There's $300 left over, Will. It's built, buddy. On the Oakland side, I think they're a stack that could be a game changer today. They're a team with a ton of power. They have, 8 guys with ISOs over 200 against left-handed pitching since the start of last season. Alex Young has pitched well. I don't want to discount that. I do want to continue to say this guy gets 0 soft contact. And when you're not striking people out and you face a team that has, 6 guys with hard contact rates over 40%, it's really hard not to have a ton of interest in an Oakland stack here.
Yeah, no, I get it, man. Like I said, I'm not playing Young. He's not going to go deep enough anyway. So, I think you may be onto something here with this Oakland stack. I didn't start up the day thinking that I would kind of be on an Oakland stack, and I still may not end up there. But in this spot, they probably get, I would say, 4 innings, 4 to 5 innings of Young. And if they mash them early, maybe they get 3. So I think I'm with you here, Stevie. I like that call. This could be a stack of the day for sure. I like it.
I just got my Wilmer Flores. So, man, I'm tilting so hard now that I have Braves in my Oakland stack had 2 Braves and a one-off of 2% owned Wilmer Flores, and he just hit a 3-run homer. So, all right, still not going to tilt. Like the Oakland Athletics here. Moving on, Angels, Giants, Matt Andressi against Kevin Gausman. Any interest here in Andressi?
Nah, don't think I'm going to do it. I don't think I need Andressi on this slate, as we've talked about. Giving up a lot of hard contact to lefties. I can't do it.
Yeah, like he is going to like open here. I don't know who he's necessarily going to open for. Like he's come in for Julio Teheran after Teheran's got beat up a little bit, but he's actually supposed to open this game. So I don't know who's going to. It could be like a legit bullpen game here for the Angels. Andressi's likely not going to throw over 50 pitches. Kevin Gausman on the other side, we started to talk about him yesterday, realized it was going to be Cueto. Do you have any interest here in Gausman?
If you just purely look at the numbers, and we told you that Gausman had a 31.8% K rate and a 3.26 xFIP, I think we'd be pretty interested. My concern is that this isn't the same old Los Angeles Angels. You add Rendon there. I think it really does a lot for this lineup. LaStella's hitting great. Fletcher's hitting great. I think this team has got enough run protection now to where I don't think I want to play Kevin Gausman. I think it's the wrong spot. Obviously, he's not crazy expensive, but I think it's the wrong spot. I think I'm going to fade him here.
Man,
this is a tough one, though.
Like my only issue here is there's only like 2 or 3 guys in this lineup on a daily basis that strike out at a high clip. So correct. I know Trout like he's striking out a little bit more this season, and like I kind of want to respect that, but like the only thing that is somewhat interesting here on Kevin Gausman for large field tournaments is the numbers that the Angels have against splitters. They do not hit splitters well. It is a very small sample size. That is the only thing that stands out to me on Gausman. He's 6,500. He's so cheap. Like I've already said, like I was able to build a Bieber Gray stack or team that I like already. Like there's a good chance that if everybody's in this lineup, I'm not gonna change it, and it'll be one of my 3 teams over on DraftKings. But I still have 2 other teams, and like there are some higher, like you look at like stacking, like even if you look at like stacking Oakland, we just got to talking about Oakland. Like they have a lot of guys in the upper 4s that I like. Chapman, I'm not stacking them without Olsen. Laureano's 4,500. So like 3 of my Oakland bats right off the bat are over 4,500. And like if I'm still trying to get up to like Bieber or somebody, like I'm still gonna need some value. I don't know, man. I think Gausman is worth a look. I might like Gausman more than I like Kikuchi and Williams, but it's like those 3 guys are a coin flip. It's like a legit coin flip for all those guys. I wasn't really liking Gausman, and then I looked at like the splitter numbers, and like he throws it so much. I don't know.
I know, man.
They're gonna mash his fastball. That's the only thing.
Of course, it's just. I'm with you. I don't think I can play him. Like you said, man. When you got Gray at 95, you can just plug in him and Bieber and just kind of run away with it. That's probably the right approach for this slate.
Oh man, Will, like this is just one of those slates that it's so interesting. Like because Gausman in the past, we're stacking the Angels here. Like if you don't believe in what Gausman's doing this year and like how well he's pitching and stuff, then stack the Angels. By all means, stack the Angels. Like, there's a handful. Like, it's not a 10-game slate where there's, 8 teams to stack. Like, there's a handful of teams to stack today. Like, the Angels stack is not out of play here.
Yeah, I know. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I think you said it best already. I'm going to repeat it, and then I'll leave it alone. If you don't believe in Gausman, you need to stack some Angels today. Because listen, it's going to be the late night hammer. I think we'll get the Angels at all players under 10% ownership. Even Mike Trout. I don't think Mike Trout goes over 10% today. This could be a GPP winning stack if they get the Gausman early. So I like, and it's in San Francisco. People don't like to play bats in San Francisco anyway. I like this spot for the Angels. I think it could be good. A GPP spot, might I add, not just to play him, but GPP.
No, yeah, I think that like even looking at like the Giants, like knowing how bad the Angels bullpen is, like, yeah, man, this bullpen's bad. You look at like the 2020 numbers for the Angels bullpen, and it's not pretty. Like, my only issue is like Yaz is 5,300. He's the guy to play. Brandon Belt's 3,300. I think Brandon Belt, like if you're building a stack and you have like a first base spot open, like he's worth looking at as a one-off here too.
Yeah, for sure. I don't hate that call at all. Like, you know, we might be talking about him a little bit later in a few minutes.
All right, let's play the good old fashioned morning grind game. Before we do that, though, we got to tell you about DraftKings. Sure, the regular season is fun and all, but only one thing can compare to the excitement of the playoffs, and that is DraftKings, the leader in one-day fantasy sports. Both basketball and hockey have entered their respective playoffs, and DraftKings is putting you in the center of the action. With millions in prizes throughout the week, there is no better place to make it rain. Start playing for free with your first deposit today. If you haven't tried it yet, daily fantasy sports are easy to play. Just draft your players, stay under the salary cap, and pile up points based on your player's performance. There's no better way to put your sports knowledge to the test than to compete for millions of dollars in prizes throughout the week. But if DraftKings isn't for you, DraftKings just launched Best Ball. If DraftKings isn't for you, if daily fantasy isn't for you, check out Best Ball. Contests for football season. And if you aren't familiar with Best Ball, simply head to the app now and check it out. Download the DraftKings app and use promo code GRIND to play fantasy free with your first deposit. Compete for millions of dollars in total prizes up for grabs this week. That's promo code GRIND to get a shot at millions of dollars in prizes all week long, only at DraftKings. Minimum $5 deposit required. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details. Man, I messed that one up a bunch today. Anyway, check out DraftKings. Like, you know, we just got done breaking down this whole slate looking at DraftKings. We're about to play the morning grind game looking at DraftKings. So, Will, give me a guy under 8K that you think can get 6 or more strikeouts on DraftKings.com.
Well, I think I'm going to go with my guy. You know, I've talked about him earlier. He's a guy that I feel okay about. Man, I'm going down this road again, man. Give me Kikuchi. I'm going to try to take someone against the Dodgers yet again and hope it doesn't burn me.
I don't think it's the craziest play. I'm going to go Gausman. The more
I like it.
The more I look at it, the more, man, it stands out. Give me a guy over 8K to score under 15.
Ooh.
Tough. I know. Today it's tougher than usual.
Yeah.
Man, Jake Cronenworth, dude, this guy he is such a beast. Gets on base, steals second base, anyway, sorry.
I don't really. I think the only guy that I possibly could take is a guy I don't want to take. I'm going to go Brandon Woodruff just because, but I don't like it.
Listen, it's Wainwright, Will. Adam Wainwright is not going over 15 today. He's regressing.
No. Listen, that was too easy. I didn't want to go. Come on,
I'm going there. Listen, I'm going there.
You already know I'm stacking the Reds.
That's right. I just laid it up off the backboard and dunked it all over Wainwright's face. I can't dunk anymore, though. Listen, in high school I could dunk. I can't dunk anymore. I'm fat and old. Over 4K to hit a home run. We don't even have cores, so don't have to worry about that. Give me a guy that's going to hit a home run. Don't take my guy. You're going to take my guy. It's going to make me mad.
No, I don't think so, man. I don't think so. I think I'm going to just stay in Cleveland, man. Give me Jose Ramirez at 5,300. I think this is a good spot for Jose. Give me Jose.
All right, you're going to take my guy. I was like, man, he's going to take my guy. My guy is Santander. the easiest play on the slate today. Like, if you're playing cash games and you don't have Santander, you're going to lose today. Trademark Dan Bach, copyright pending. Just joking.
Hey, listen, people may not even remember that from
It's been a long time.
Oh my! If you're not playing, you're just going to lose. Man, that's so bad.
Shout out to our good buddy Dan Bach.
Fantasy
BB.
fix, my
man.
Goodness.
Under 4K to get 2 hits today. Who do you got?
Man, you already know where I'm going, man. Verdugo. I mean, he stood out to me earlier on.
He's 4,400. He's not under 4K. You're not allowed to, like, he's cheap on FanDuel. We're playing on DraftKings.com, Will.
My bad. I was thinking about the FanDuel pricing. Please forgive me.
He's 2,700 on FanDuel. Like, he's
my bad.
Already clicked in there, buddy. He's already in the lineup.
Well, I'm not going to take your guy. Let's go.
You can take whoever you want. I have like 4 guys today that I think are very possible to do this. So you take whoever you please.
Man, I think we're probably going to have to go with our guy. We've talked about him enough on the pod today. And I know he's in there, but come on. You know it's Cronenworth. Too easy. That's probably the layup of this slate.
Way too cheap. Should not be 2,500.
I know where you're going next. I think I know where you're going next. I got
Who do you think I'm going to take?
I think you're taking Ahmed, but I'm not sure.
I did. I heard he had him written down. I didn't even – like, it's written down. Already written down. Like, it was done. Like, I had written him down earlier. So – give me a stack, Will. 6 or more runs to get a stack today. Who do we got? Like let's make this game fun. Let's not take Baltimore or Boston. They're both scoring 6.
You already know where I'm going. I mean, Cincinnati. I've already boosted these guys up. I'm taking the Reds. I mean, it's probably my top tournament stack on the day for sure.
All right, for the second straight day, I'm going to go with Oakland. Really like the spot for them. I think the Giants are the vomit sneaky stack again. I said this yesterday. They're not really like paying off yet. Like Flores had a 3-run homer, but man, the Angels bullpen's bad. We're gonna get a bullpen game, or we're potentially gonna get like Julia Teheran long relief. Like, the Giants sneaky stack, stinky as well. Will, any final thoughts before we get out of here?
Nah, man, I am good. Such a pleasure, my brother. I will, I guess, see you again next week.
Yes, sir. We'll see you on Wednesday like we usually do. If you're listening to the basketball podcast, you'll see Will on Friday. He's been busy this week. 2 basketball podcasts before this, and then the 2 baseball, and then finishes off with basketball. We'll be back tomorrow talking some more good old-fashioned baseball. And I'll see you guys on Grinders Live later today, talking about how much I love Kevin Gausman, or something crazy. There'll be something crazy, so make sure you tune in. That's going to wrap it up here for Wednesday, or for Thursday. Man, this is 2 days in a row. I'm used to working with Will on Wednesdays, so I messed up again. But
yes,
that's going to wrap it up here for Thursday. I hope everyone has an awesome day. Good luck in your contest, and we'll see you again tomorrow.